I'm Ariel.
And I'm Tushard. Our Green Branch is here to get to the root of any issue,
From relationships and the strange,
to travel and pop culture.
extending an olive branch from us to you.
Come with us on a journey of growth.
And don't forget to leave a like.
This is OGB
Podcast. What's up, our Green Branch?
What up, what up, what up?
Welcome back to another podcast. We are talking about relationships. He just said that that's my favorite thing to talk about.
It's her favorite thing, you guys. I like aliens and werewolves and ghosts and things, and she likes relationships.
I do. It's fun to talk about because relationships are complicated, just like aliens are complicated. Did you really say they're not?
Relationships are simple, dude. They're simple. They're simple. It's very simple.
Humans are complicated.
It's very simple. You just love them. That's all you need. All you need is love.
Relationships are everywhere.
Yeah.
Obviously. But especially in the media. So
and media not as in like news and things,
No.
because there are no great relationships going on in the news right now.
No. We're talking about fictional relationships, like on television and in movies specifically.
Sitcoms, movies, those things, yeah.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about how relationships, or how marriages specifically
are portrayed
in television and movies.
I guess we should say entertainment.
In entertainment.
Yeah, in entertainment.
But we're just talking about, like, fictional marriages.
Okay. I'm ready. Let's make it happen.
Okay. My favorite show right now that has been going on for quite a while.
I think it's every girl's favorite show right now.
Well, I'm not saying what you think I'm going to say.
Oh, my bad. My bad, you guys. I'm thinking of a different show then.
He's thinking This Is Us.
Yeah, that's everybody's favorite show right now.
But my favorite show is Blackish. I have seen every single episode from season 1 a couple of years ago. And I just love it so much. Like, I see us, like our family,
the whole thing, like, yeah, my whole side of the family, you can really see them in the movie, or in the show, I should say. My mom and my dad are in that show so hard.
Even Rainbow's mom is kind of similar to mine, yeah. I think. So I can really relate to that show. But to me, like, this show is a lot about not necessarily their marriage. It's not necessarily about Dre and Rainbow's marriage. Although, lately, if you guys do watch the show, I believe there's been 1 or 2 episodes. I read somewhere that this is a 4-part series to their relationship woes. And I watched the first episode last week. And it was a completely different feel from the way that the show typically is. Like I said earlier, it's mostly about the family, like about the kids and about the grandparents and the whole family dynamic. You don't get
and they're usually, I don't want to say they're working together, but they play off of each other. They have their moments where they talk to each other to help out with problems. And of course, Dre is like me. He's just a big kid.
Yeah.
Big old child. And he loves his mama. Oh man, you can just see my mom in Dre's mom so hard.
And his dad and your dad, Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh man.
So in this last episode, Rainbow and Dre are kind of at like an odds. It's not necessarily that they're in like turmoil with each other. It's like, let's get a divorce, like something awful happened. Nothing awful happened. They're just having like a difference of opinions. Like right in the last episode, the baby son, he just turned 1 and he's not walking. And so they both felt different ways about that. And, we don't have kids, so we don't know what type of dynamic children bring into a marriage. But seeing them going through, like, marriage problems was really interesting to see. So that got me thinking that, you don't really see the ins and outs so much of a long-term marriage. Seeing people have relationship issues like up close and see it go over a span of like weeks and months and episodes and seasons, because marriages can be complicated. Like there's points where it's like, oh, nothing's happening, and that's cool.
Of course, you have your quiet days, you have your peaceful, wonderful days, but man, when the war comes,
Everything adds up, you know. Everything is accounted for.
Winter is coming.
Yes.
Make sure you're ready.
So I just thought that that was interesting the way that they showed it. So we kind of wanted to talk about how marriages and long-term relationships are portrayed in the media. This was really my first time seeing like a marriage up close and personal, like I did in Blackish.
Now, for me, my go-to sitcom for a relationship that I enjoyed watching is Martin. From way back in the day. Martin. They showed you what I would say is kind of close to our relationship, and that it's just two people being together. There's no kids involved, and they kind of see each other often. Like Martin and Gina saw each other often. They were most likely in the house together doing something, trying to figure out something to do with Tommy and Pam, or just the single / couple life was shown hardcore on Martin.
Right. To me, there aren't very many. I can't think of any one show right now that has a single couple that has a lot of scenes together. Like it used to be, like King of Queens was like that. Martin, of course, but nothing I see as a marriage right now.
Yeah. So I'll go to one show that really got me like upset at a couple.
Yeah.
And that was The Game.
Oh.
The show on BET called The Game.
Yeah.
So you had, I want to say, Tia? What are the Mowry. She was trying to get with this guy, and they were on track to be married, and then he ended up cheating on her, which was completely out of character for him. It was completely out of character. It made no sense why he would do it, because his whole character was built on like this almost chivalrous guy who was like really a really good guy. He had principles. He was very much like myself in the sense that he was after one woman, he wanted one woman, and that's it. And this is who he wanted. And then somehow he messes it up by cheating on her. It's like they just threw this plot twist in there that was completely unwarranted and unneeded, and I didn't ask for it, to mess up this relationship, to cause drama, to, I guess, get more rating. I don't know why they thought this would get more ratings. And I feel like that's where they jumped the shark, was making him cheat on her. Because after that, the show just lost a lot of steam. Like, we were going from fiance to now y'all are nothing, and she doesn't even want to talk to him. So their scenes together are awkward. Or they don't even have scenes together. We got to watch her cry and go through all this stuff. And it's like, we've all been betrayed now. The whole entire fan base has been betrayed by this guy that we all thought was upstanding, and it just didn't work out to make a good show afterwards. And that's kind of, to me, where the game started to just dip.
That's similar to Insecure, although it wasn't uncharacteristic for Issa's character to cheat on her boyfriend. But it was, I don't know, it was just the part that wasn't, to me, wasn't necessary, because the guy was faithful and he was trying to get his life together. Sure, he's not moving as fast as you want him to, but that's something that kind of bleeds into a different topic as to why good relationships aren't
my
shown.
Bad. That was
depth.
And that was kind of, but I just thought it went kind of along because they were on their way to being a married couple.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, now it's like, nope, he just couldn't keep it in his pants, because man, that single life is wonderful when you can just have sex with whoever you want to. And it's like, no one really, like, people will say that to make single life feel good, but at the end of the day, man, I know single people, you guys have to tell me if I'm wrong. It can be pretty freaking lonely when you're there at your home by yourself and no one's there to enjoy some of the moments that you have.
So, yes. And I think then, bringing it back a little bit, is that long-term monogamous relationships are underrepresented in media.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
And we're not the only people who have been together since they were young.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we haven't had like, problems. Like, it's not examined in depth in the media how it is to have a long-term relationship and the issues that come up with that.
I would like to see something like what we have in the sense of a reoccurring issue.
Mm-hmm.
An issue that for some reason people just can't seem to stop. Okay, they just can't seem to not I don't know, leave pepper and salt out after they get done cooking. They always got to leave the condiments. They got to always leave all the condiments out. Okay, after they get done cooking some stuff, and then as a better half, you're supposed to clean up after your significant other does things in the kitchen.
Do you?
But at the same time, if that other person ever cooks and say that they maybe cook something and then they put up all the condiments and then the other person doesn't have to clean up anything, that's nice. And it's just those types of things that I don't see often in the world. You don't see reoccurring issues that people aren't. You get what I'm saying?
Like how the husband always leaves his wet towel on the bed, and how the wife goes behind him and puts it in the laundry. And after the first 1,550 times, it's like, you know what? I'm not even gonna say anything else about it. So that's
these things just aren't shown, you guys. They're just not shown in the sitcoms and the movies. I want to see.
Would that really make for good TV, though?
I honestly think that if you show people that people make mistakes over and over and over, instead of showing these perfect people who never have a problem, I feel like arguments don't get as intense from how it's just, I feel like people don't realize the effects that what they watch has on them. What they see has an effect on them. If you look at your own lives, everybody, I'm pretty sure you can tell that after you get done watching a kung fu movie, if you don't feel like you can do kung fu after you've seen a kung fu movie, you're lying.
The bottom line is to say that things that you watch doesn't have an effect on how you view.
It does have an effect. Go ahead.
It does. Yes, it does have an effect on it, whether, whatever.
And what we're getting at, of course, is like I was saying, with the arguments that you'll see someone else have on the TV,
right,
and or not have, you kind of, your expectation of what your relationship should be like kind of ticks in that perfect direction, which is unrealistic.
Right.
Every time you see a relationship doing great on TV or doing wonderful in a movie or not having those issues, you tick this way and like, oh, I could have that relationship. I could have a perfect relationship. And then somebody leaves a towel on the bed. Next thing you know, you're out here on the couch watching, weird things at night on YouTube.
No, come on. That's
just one needle on an ever-growing haystack. So you have to understand where I'm coming from. It wasn't just the towel. It wasn't just this. It's other things, not to mention what you think the relationship should be.
Right.
It all has an effect. And if if you guys can't talk and get those things worked out,
exactly.
Or understand that people make mistakes.
And that was something that was kind of brought up in the Blackish episode.
Ooh, tell us more. Bring this back.
They were trying to agree on what to do about the kid. And Dre has a different, he has a different outlook on life. The way that he handles situations
completely different than Rainbow.
Yeah.
Even though they love each other. It's so weird.
And so you could tell that there was a long conflict going on between them on how they deal with different types of situations. And so,
because how many kids do they have? 4 now, right?
They have 5.
Well, 4, and then now the baby is 5.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been through this 4 darn times already.
Yeah.
Reoccurring issue.
Exactly. And just, those, like I said, those types of things build up. You have years and years and years and years of examples of things that have happened that affect the way that you feel about this person and stuff. And that's not something that you see a lot in TV.
So it's nice to see it. Yeah.
it was nice to see it, and also to see that it's not resolved in 30 minutes, because they didn't resolve it in the first episode, which is why it's going to be, like a multi-part series. So it's really groundbreaking, if you will.
Yeah. Now, of course, today you guys were just talking about mostly Black community shows.
Yeah.
So we can't dive into how it's shown broadly yet, or not can't, but we're not doing that in this episode or in this podcast. So what we really want to talk to you about is the Black community, and that's why we're on Blackish and Martin and talking about those types. I don't know if we were clear and concise when we started this, but I just wanted to make sure I cleared that up.
Yeah.
So Blackish is great, and the only reason I'm saying all of that is to say that I really wanted to talk about Fresh Off the Boat, but that's an Asian couple doing totally I can't speak on the Asian experience, but at the same time I like their couple dynamic, the way they work together.
Yes,
I like that they do their tax. I like that they get excited over the geekiest things to do together.
Yes,
that's something that you don't see in our sitcoms or our movies. Like Black couples, you don't see them getting excited to do something together.
Yeah.
Like having a thing that they're like, oh my God, you know what time it is? Well, what time is it? Taxes time! And then they get excited and they go do taxes together and they just plan it out. Oh my God. She gets her little bank hat on.
It was so cute.
Oh my God. He's got his little polo ready. They get their little calculator. Look, you guys, I would love to see that in Blackish, in anything. I want to see them getting excited to do that, to do, different things, not just one thing. I need a couple of different things that you guys are like, man, hey, you ready for that Game of Thrones? like that's how we get. We like watching Game of Thrones together.
Yeah.
Or we like playing the game Heroes of the Storm, which we've put up a battle of us doing on there on our Green Branch. Like we get excited to do things together, and I feel like that's not shown. The excitement to be around your significant other.
Right.
I feel like it's never really no one's ever excited to be around their ball and chain.
One thing, there is the couple on This Is Us, Randall and his wife. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank on her name. But they haven't really shown a lot of them like doing things together, being excited to do things together. But they do have a lot of scenes by themselves where you can see the dynamic of their relationship. Mm-hmm. So you see the wife being there for the husband, like through all of his crazy times, like when he's feeling anxious or like unsure of himself. That's something that you don't really see in a lot of TV shows. So like that's been really interesting, and I definitely appreciate their relationship. And then you've also seen,
and you can just I don't want you to lose your train of thought.
Go ahead.
But I can tell that she's looking that our relationship is changing. Like in real time, our relationship is changing the more she watches This Is Us.
Really?
Or the more she sees positive relationships. Like our relationship changes. She kind of...
True. It's affirming. It's affirming to see other people deal with the same issues that you've dealt with and see them come through the other side without it being like, oh, let's break up, or, oh, that didn't work out, so let me go cheat on this person,
It's, you can definitely see a change. I'm glad you said something about it, because I didn't know how to put my finger on what was changing in our relationship. But this stuff has an effect, man, and you can really, and oh my God, I can't get it out. I am seeing the change that you are making in our relationship for the better, and in, thinking about me and thinking about what I'm going through aside from what you may be going through, and like being supportive, man, because it's been nice. Our world needs shows like that. You need to see a couple that looks like you doing it, and it looks good. It's nice. It's not perfect because nothing is, but understanding, open-mindedness, and love are things that I think need to be shown in relationships a lot more. Not open-mindedness is in like threesomes and foursomes and orgies and stuff. I'm talking about open-mindedness is in she's anxious. She may need me to just chill and be here for right now while she's going through something. She just needs some support. Right. Versus, why are you always complaining? Why are you whining?
Just looking at the surface. It's important to dig deep and see what's causing the thing. And a lot of times you just see surface issues being talked about that are resolved by the end of the episode. And then too, I think it's also important to see different portrayals of gender roles.
Yes. Because instead of always seeing the man do man things.
Yeah, and the woman doing woman things, you know? Like, it's one thing to have both of the couples, like, working outside of the house. Like, for the Huxtables.
For the Huxtables.
That was groundbreaking back in the day, that you have two educated people in this marriage. They have money and stuff.
And they're black. That was huge back in the 80s and 90s, man.
Yeah, and that kind of broke gender roles, I guess. But I think at this point, it's important to keep breaking that down, because not all marriages and relationships are made the same.
Yeah, nor do they need to be.
Typically, you see the man being the breadwinner and the woman being the caretaker.
Right.
And This Is Us, the Randall, he used to work. His wife also worked. They both have good jobs. But Randall ended up quitting his job, and he was just like working. I mean, not working. He was just taking care of the kids. He was doing his daughter's hair and stuff, you know.
That's the type of dad I want to be.
Yes. That's not something that you always see. And then he didn't have a job. So typically, you know, people would be like, oh, he's a deadbeat, you know, why is his wife letting him do that? And probably in a standard TV show such as Insecure, where the guy didn't have a job, he was trying to figure out what it was that he wanted to do.
And he's young. That's the other crazy part, is the girl like is expecting him to be like ready to be a billionaire right now at age 24. And it's like, he just got done with college and stuff. He is trying, like, you're still trying to figure yourself out during that time. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was between 25 and 30. They're they're probably maybe even early 30s, but still.
My bad.
A lot of people don't have it figured out by the time they're 30.
Midlife crisis.
So Issa, I think she just wasn't feeling that, and that's okay, I guess, if that's what you feel. But it's not.
She should have given him time. That was turning her off hardcore, that he didn't have a job.
Yeah, we see that storyline a lot. You don't see the opposite of that a lot, where
he doesn't have a job and they're great.
Yeah, or just, you know, where the couple has a conflict, but they still work through it together and find something that works for both of them, even if it takes a while to get there.